G'day folks, welcome to this live playthrough of US Turn 8. This is the PM turn from the, what are we up to, the 19th of December. So as part of this turn, the Germans have already gone, they've had their PM turn, and you'll notice they've placed a few units under their night markers. Things are really starting to tighten up for the Germans. You've got this, it's really most evident out on the left where I've sent all these sort of 82nd, 101st airborne units to protect the flanks. What was happening was these various units of, I guess the German flank were doing too well out here. So diverted a lot of resources out here. You'll notice they're red 6 defense strength. So they're elite units with a very good defense strength. And I think that will put a stop to those German advances out here, at least out here. In the centre, the Germans are kind of struggling. The last 2 turns have been pretty quiet, a lot less combat than previously. They're struggling to find those right targets for their attacks. I mean, they've held Bastogne now, but they're in the northern end of Bastogne, but it's tough to get a decent attack on the southern hex in the town. Elsewhere, just a few little roadblocks, I guess. You've got these Americans here. Very close to surrendering. They are green, so one more surrender point. Oh, the bottom unit is green, the top unit isn't. I'll have to check how that works. But you've got these guys behind the lines here who've done very well. No surrender points at all, so I think we're going to have to move to eliminate them. And we're struggling to get all these forces up the roads. So you've had this sort of exploitation around here. We've pocketed these units here. There's only a couple of Americans left. They're also slowing things down. And it's been difficult to move through these roads for the Germans. And then the Americans, despite really having no front line for the last 48 hours, 24, 36 hours, have somehow managed to rally. And it's now their turn. So I've gone through artillery supply, bridge phase now, and I really don't think there are any bridges they want to blow, or can blow. I guess there's, no, that's a town. I think the moment for bridge blowing has passed. I'm looking around here, there's nothing really, nothing really I can do. So as we move into the American movement phase, we can take these truck markers off because these guys are pretty much in position. We do have, I've got these guys in my hand, a stack of new US reinforcements arriving. They're not great. They're not particularly strong. They're all pretty weak actually, but they will help hold the line. Okay, so let's see what we can do out here. I think for the most part, I'm going to keep the position now here on the left as it is. Now, there's a ZOC bond between these 2 units, and these guys are in a very good, they're 8 defense strength, so they're in a good position. I do worry about the Americans kind of slipping through the lines, but that would mean giving up I could move back to here, for example, giving me +2 defensive strength, still not a ZOC bond, or I kind of shift everyone around to the right, and that's going to be much more difficult to do. What I need is one more unit just out here. Do I have reinforcement here? They all come on at E or H. Some of these guys can come on from the left-hand side of the map. The Americans also have their night markers. Now, they haven't used these yet. There's I guess the potential for an American counterattack at any time. And they might start to look for something. So yeah, I'm going to stay passive out here. These guys are holding Martelange, a key crossroads in the area. These guys are on another key crossroad. I could move them forward just to create another ZOC bond, and I will do that actually. So they'll move 1 hex forward into the woods. They could move into Warnock, but I think this ZOC bond, extending this ZOC bond out of Bastogne, you can see this, for those who aren't familiar with the game, units can leave a hex gap between them, and it creates a ZOC bond, and German units are not allowed to move into that bond. It's the same with hex side bonds. So German units can move, if there's a German unit here, they cannot cross that hex side bond between two allied units. So it creates basically a impenetrable wall between these allied units. So I have this wall along here that the Germans cannot get through. The only way they can proceed beyond that wall is basically to eliminate or force the retreat of allied units. So if the Germans want to move through here, for example, they would have to force the retreat of this unit, which then breaks this bond and they can push forward. And well, they've been doing that successfully to date, but yeah, really hardening up the American defences. I'm looking at this armoured unit here, and I have a plan. So with 7 movement, they're going to go, it's 1 movement point to exit an enemy zone of control. So it's 1 to leave the hex, along a primary road 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Relocating around to the left to cover this area here that I was concerned about just a moment ago. Then these guys will do a movement 1, 2 into that wooded area near Bastogne just to tighten that, that ZOC bond, which frees up this infantry, and they can move into 1, 2 into the southern half of Bastogne to make it even stronger. So I now have a defence strength of 12 units, plus the 3 for the town is 15. I think, yeah, that's going to be tough for the Germans to take. We have relatively weak defence here in Longchamp, just to the north of Bastogne. And I do need to be concerned about these Germans moving through this corridor. So I'm kind of tempted to pull these guys out of there, especially this unit. This is, yeah, they're green. The white banded number means they're green. And shift them around here. So yeah, we're going to pull away from this wooded area. 1, 2, 3 and a half, just to La Roche and Ardennes. Now I do need to be wary of potential German breakthroughs again. This is where the night phase is going to be taking place. So I have this armoured unit behind the line. So the Americans are getting a bit of luxury here. This is kind of the first time I've had these units that I'm not immediately rushing to the line. And I need to think about where the Germans might advance. The Germans are really focused on primary roads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So good defence position here. Still relatively weak over here. So what I might do is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there to hold a position just behind La Roche and Ardennes, just in case. They're projecting their ZOC to the surrounding area. Just in case, yeah. Okay, shifting our attention over to the north side of the map. I should also look at these reinforcements as well. So I know where H is. Most of these 3 of these units come in from the right hand side of the map. E is way up, way up, way out west, around Mézières and Charleville. So we'll get these guys, these are just some more airborne infantry. Going to give them some trucks and truck them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and their mates will just follow up behind them. Done. That's probably mostly off camera because it's way up in the north. You can see where they've just appeared on the map up here. It's a long map. The west map really does go back a long way. And look, whilst the Germans, I've been talking a lot about how the Germans have had the run of successes thus far, but they're not even halfway to the Meuse. If I can give you a sort of panoramic view, all right, I'll try and show you this perspective. There's the full map. This is the furthest extent of German defence. This is basically where they started. That's how far they've come. They're not even halfway. If we push towards Liège, They are reasonably close to Liège, but as I said at the very start, I don't like this as a possibility. I never, in Bulge games, I don't like pushing towards Liège. It always looks so ripe for the taking. It's just there, just have to push a little bit further. And I guess my history of pushing on Liège in various games is pretty miserable, so I'm not doing that. Unless there is a wide open gap and it just, the opportunity really presents itself. All right, so I've got some armoured units coming in from the right, so some silhouetted tank units. And they're all coming in at H. So I'll consider that in a moment. I'll see what else I can do with my units. These guys are very happy holding Samri in the centre there. They are very happy holding, geez, these names, Ardennes. We do have this disrupted unit here. They will stay. We've got a defence strength of 4 plus 2 is 6 in here. Well, things are looking good for the Americans. When I'm looking at these units and I'm thinking, yeah, they'll just stay there, that's a good sign for the Americans that they're holding well. It's also that the Germans don't have a clear path. Where are the Germans going to go? Strength in here, maybe I should be looking at these night markers because these are the units that will exploit. And where can they go? Verbermont through here perhaps? So maybe I need to look around at defending in this wooded area. Wooded area only gives a +1 defense modifier, so it's not great. Holding the flanks pretty well. Need to keep these disrupted units behind the lines. I may just tighten up my ZOC bonds. It's a bit hard. So if I can move these guys, tactical movement 1, 2. That'll give them the defense strength of 8 in here. If these guys can just go a little bit further, where can they go? They can go 1, 2 into there. That creates a nice ZOC bond all throughout here. This is a bit of a weakness, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's a bit of a weakness around this area, which I can address by pulling back a bit. But this is a really nice road to hold. It's slowing down the Germans as they move through here. Basically, this primary road splits here and moves in 2 corridors. And I've had this armoured unit in the woods here, basically blocking this road, forcing the Germans to take the left road. And if I pull back from that, it can potentially open up possibilities for the Germans, which I don't want to do. I forgot which ones I moved. I think they moved up. So these guys, I might just... No, look, it's good to be cautious. So I'm going to block the rear roads, hold the bridges, just in the case that there is that exploitation. Which means, yeah, moving forward into that town, that's a defense strength of 8 here. Yeah, crossing the bridge to take a forward advance in a way, sorry for the pronunciation. And then around here, okay, so reinforcements coming on, they can help with this defense around here. Not very well though. Look at that attack strength. That's the first 10 I've seen on a unit. So this is my counter-attacking unit starting to come on. Infantry over here. One, 2. I forgot how much it costs for these guys to move through lightly forested terrain. Infantry, light woods, costs 1. And I'd like to set them up, I think, just there. That's not a great move. It's kind of a, I don't know what to do, so I'm putting them between this bridge here and this open road down here. And these guys, they should be on their non-fired side. They will pull back along the road. Yeah, look, this is dangerous. I've got engineers just holding slightly this town here. So what I'm going to do is bring these guys on at H. Where's H? 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. It's still relatively lightly defended, but in fact, this area is a bit weak here. Pulling back here. So now we have a nice ZOC bond. These guys are trapped. I don't know if you can see this. Yep, just on the camera. Pulling back here, and we might hold that town for there. So we've got ZOC bonds. You can form a ZOC bond, just off the camera here, with the edge of the map. So this is a ZOC bond. The Germans can't move through here. And then bond, 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 bond. This is a bit of a gap here. So spar is important. It's on the primary road. Going to bring on some armoured units. Oh, that's a grief marker. I forgot about that. Could they still get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there another way around? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they could still make that hex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to defend it a little better. And I think the Germans will struggle. I know this artillery sort of looks a bit vulnerable, but I think they're in a safe position here because the German armour can't quite get across. There's two roads, east and west, being blocked by decent defensive stacks, which leaves me with this nice unit here. And what do I do with them? Where is a good place to counterattack? I think I might just move them to the centre and wait and see what happens. So they come on at, an H. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I think they're in a good position there just to respond to whatever may happen. And that is American movement. Oh wait, we've got these guys in the centre. Okay, so these are in trouble. They're engaged, they're out of supply, and they can't cross an unbridged river. So yeah, pretty much not much I can do here. I think they may just stay there. They're not going to disengage, so this will be removed in their combat phase. We then get to the rally phase. I can remove those disrupted markers because they're not adjacent to German units. And we can move to the US combat phase. Now, what are we looking at for combat? Do we have enough here to threaten the northern end of Bastogne? 9, 10, 11, absolutely not. 11 plus 3, it's a German defense strength of 14 in that hex. Can't do much here. Oh, gee. So they're out of supply. But very close to surrendering. Do I want to try to inflict some damage? So it'd be 10 factors on 6. Oh, geez. They can't move anyway. They're basically surrounded by these hexide bonds. Being out of supply will give the Germans a column shift. But I think, look, they're at risk of surrendering anyway this turn, almost immediately. So we're going to do an attack. It's going to be 10 on 4, 5, 6. So basically 1-to-1 combat shifted to 1-to-2. Although I do have the armour, which brings it back up to 1-to-1. You can see the little 3 up in the top left. That gives me an armour shift. So back up to 1-to-1. I don't think there are any other modifiers that apply. There's no American artillery in range. The Germans have artillery support. And this is the first time I think I've used German artillery support defensively. So they roll a die to see what happens. We flip this over. A 5 has no effect for the Germans. So it's just a 1-to-1 column shift. A 6 result is an A1. And because I use the armour, they have to take a step loss, which is interesting. I don't know if they're no longer white, they're no longer green. Does that mean they're experienced because of their combat losses and they don't surrender if they reach a 3? Green units will surrender once there's 3 points, veterans 4, elite units 5. So they may last a bit longer now. We'll see. Other US attacks. I didn't put any night markers down either, so I can still, let me just rewind a bit. And some of those units that didn't move, like, who didn't move? Maybe they can do something. Not a lot. Look, these are all very slow-moving infantry. Look, this is kind of a just in case. Can I place night markers on disrupted units? Let me check if I can place night markers on disrupted units. In a non-disrupted, that's replacements. Okay. Units out of supply or disrupted may not be designated. No, I cannot. So you can't place night markers on disrupted units. So I think they were disrupted, they can't have a night marker. I think these guys were disrupted, they can't have a night marker. Look, there's not much. It's really just a just in case. And I guess a just in case. It seems a bit silly putting on engineers, but yeah, not much else I'm really tempted to do. Okay, so no other American combat taking place. Still in very defensive mode, which brings me to the traffic phase. Now, the Germans lost the traffic marker at the start of this turn. We need to think now about where the Germans, what roads the Germans might be using. Where are the, well, this is kind of the front line here. And there's a bulk of these German forces trying to move up. These are the night markers, so maybe I want to slow them down. And I want to slow them down from using their primary roads. So if they try to go that way, it's going to slow them down. If they try to come back around across this bridge, that's going to slow them down. Yes, they can cut across here, but it's going to be very slow to do so. That's my thinking. This is what they've sort of designated for night movement potential exploitation. I'm specifically targeting these guys to slow them down if they try to move north, slower if they try to cut around to the east, that's west. West, slower, north, slow them down. If they try to move through here, these are all secondary roads in this area, so it'll be pretty slow as well. Hopefully that will slow down the German plans. Some insight into the German perspective, they don't have any plans as yet. They just designated some big stacks with high movement to try and see what can happen. Rolling to see what markers are removed, 1 and 3. This is always the hardest part, finding these markers. There's a 4 down here which I haven't rolled yet. So 1 gets removed, and now it's the task of finding the 3. The 3 gets removed. That's pretty decent for the Americans. Frees up their counters that are no longer being used. They can return these to play on the next turn. The traffic phase, now we get to supply and isolation, and we need to make some surrender rolls. So we've got these guys here, they roll, they increase to 3, and if they were green, one of them would surrender, but because they're now flipped, I need to consult the rules and see what happens. So we're looking at surrender rules. The result is the number of points it surrenders if the threshold is reached. Use the normal threshold for all other groups. So because they're not all green, we'll use the normal threshold. So 4 surrender points needed for that stack. We then have a stack down here, 6, pretty sure that's just the 1 point. Yep, it doesn't go any higher than 1, so they add a surrender point. Where else? We've got these guys here as well. I'm surprised, the Germans, the Americans have been rolling, that's another 6 as well, so 1 more surrender point. The Americans have been rolling quite well for airdrops. When they roll a 0, no points added. When they roll a 1 or less, it's a -1 surrender point. And they've been doing pretty well. That wasn't good, but otherwise they're doing okay. All right, that, I believe, brings us to the end of the supply and isolation phase. There are no other... Oh wait, sorry, they've got these guys down here, which are also out of supply and surrounded by ZOC bonds, so they roll for surrender and they add a point as well. I think. So supply path can't cross a ZOC bond. And because they're surrounded by ZOC bonds, they are pretty much trapped in there. Okay, so that is the end of turn 8. We're shifting around to the night turn now, where we get 1 German replacement and 1 US replacement. Because there's only 1 replacement, these have to be infantry replacements. And yeah, need to think about where these losses are. It's easy enough to say, yep, I get a replacement. The hard thing is finding where there are eligible units. They're often understacked somewhere. Somewhere, it's an armoured step loss that I could replace later. They're used often just a slightly different shade, oops, which you can, I think I see at the bottom here. No, it's an armoured, it is a step loss, but it's an armoured unit. Here we are, there's 1 out on the flank here. They can't move. Do I want to move around floor Francorchamps? Or you know what, I've got some way out on the left here. I was looking at this earlier. That's an important unit to build up. It gives me 2 extra points. That can be my German replacement. Americans, where have they lost steps? I think, oh, right in the center here, but this is mechanized. Is it mechanized infantry? Can I replace them? Is what I'm thinking. Can I replace a step here? Because that's a pretty valuable step. Or does it count as an armored? So they're mechanized infantry. They're an infantry type unit, a mechanized infantry type unit. And I need to check the wording of the replacement rules to see if they are eligible. Okay, so replacements. Okay, non-engaged unit may receive a replacement if it is retreated 1 hex. So these guys just have to back off a little bit. Might back off. Where? Which way do I want to back off? There? Sure. Okay. 1 may be used for an infantry type unit, the other for a tank recon unit. Okay, that's good. These are infantry type units, which means I can replace that step. But they cannot, that's basically saying they cannot move. But they don't want to, they want to defend. And the same for these guys down here in the far bottom left there. They can't move either. All right, that is the end of that replacement step. We now, this is a night turn of course, we now go to Allied night movement phase. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking placing those night markers, but they don't want to move at all. In the night turn, the sequence of plays reversed, and I always forget about this. So Allies first, Allied combat, now the German night movement. And this is where I don't know what I'm doing in terms of plan. where can I hit the Americans? Where can I advance the position? Where can I clear these primary roads? The attacking positions on this point here are kind of occupied, so it's hard to get to. The road to this here is kind of blocked as well, so it's hard to get to. As much as I hate to say it, I'm kind of thinking about moving out to the north here towards Verviers. I don't know if you can see this just off the map. So this is where I'm looking. This is where the weakest American positions are. I'm hesitant to do so because look at this American line. We are tying up a lot of American troops here with this 1st SS infantry out on the right. So I'm hesitant. If I break through, they'll pull back. Well, they'll head off map and then back on again. Dare I say it, we might push towards Liège. Or should I use these troops just to drive more towards Bastogne and La Roche and Ardennes through Hoffelaise? How do I get there? Let's look at the movement rate 6. This is the thing. Okay, if I activate this and I go south, it's half a movement point, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. We're stopping here. So we're getting this far for nothing. So we're using this night exploitation to do just a shift to the south to try and drive through this open area. This is what I said at the start. This is a nice corridor for movement. What have I got here? 6 and 6. But it's Americans in the way. They could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same idea, not get very far. I could pull back 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, can't go anywhere around. Can't go around these units. Must go through them. I could attack this tank unit here and look, 14, if I can get, do I have another 12th SS? Yep, silhouetted tank unit. I can stack 2 silhouetted tank units together. That would give me 14, 21 on 5, 4 to 1. Do I have artillery in the area? No. No available artillery. But I would have I'm pretty sure I've got superior armor. Yep, 4 versus 3. So I'd have an armor shift to 5 to 1. Oh wait, this is a town area. So, yep, that's okay. It's light woods, so I can do that. That would really clear up the road for my next turn. If I get a breakthrough combat, I may even be able to hit these guys as well. Oh, they're really tough. They're 6. But they're out of supply, so 5 to 1 might be even pushed up to 6 to 1. The other option, okay, I can move here. I can attack the armored unit to try and clear that primary road. This is Ville-Sam, by the way, so that the Americans recaptured that in desperation. They are out of supply. I could alternatively push towards Liège. How expensive would that be and where would I hit? These seem to be the easier targets here. Can I get there? It's 1, 2, 3 for traffic, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I could punch a hole here and then exploit. I think I'm going to drive through Verviers. Look at this. If I can punch a hole here, this opens up a primary road free of enemy zones of control. That's what I'm going to do. This is what I love about this game. Looking at these maps, looking at the options available, not liking a plan, and then you see something, you see a little gap, you see a primary road free of enemy zones of control all the way through to Antwerp in my mind. All right, so how do I get there? All right, these guys, they've only got 5 movement points. And I have no artillery in the area. Can they get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, they can't. These guys have 6. These guys have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, they can't. Only 1 unit would be able to reach it. It'd be a 3 to 1. They're not armored, so they wouldn't get a column shift. And it's actually there in Sarthe. This is it. Yeah, I had a great plan, and it's been foiled by 1 fewer movement point than I need. Can these guys get there another way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're half a movement point. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could attack here instead. That's got a defense of 6. 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6. Oh wow, I'm so close. So close. Half a movement point, 1 movement point short. It'd be a 7 on 4 attack with no shifts at all, which is 1 to 1. And the 1 to 1 column is not nice if I'm looking to force retreats. An exchange result, I could roll a firefight. There's a 1 in 3, and this is a nice unit that I don't want to lose. So close to that potential for exploitation. Is there another path? No. So I'm just reading all the potential roads. This traffic marker stopped that German potential for exploitation. If that wasn't there, I'm confident I would have been able to punch a hole here and have captured Verviers by the AM turn. That traffic marker. And this is it. If the Americans would have rolled a 2, that'd be removed and I'd have a clear road. So going back to the original mediocre plan of attacking this armoured unit here. So moving along the primary road, double checking the knight rules. Knight turns, blah, blah, blah. Movement. So, yep, they have limited movement in the PM turn. Manner attacking the PM turn. Units under knight markers may use their full MA in attack. No strategic movement is allowed. Artillery may be used, but I don't have any. So, units under knight markers. I'm going to shift that 12th SS Panzer Division to stack with these guys because they're the same formation, I think. No, maybe not. I think they have to have the same coloured band. And they don't. So I'll reconsider that. I forgot where the artillery was. I forgot where they were as well, sorry. I shouldn't bump things around. I don't know where they are. So I'll get, what's this, 14 on 5, 2 to 1 with this artillery here. Let's do that first. So I have 2 to 1 odds. That's 14 on 3 plus 3, it might be 6. It is plus 3 for a town, yeah, so 6. It's actually 14 on 3, 2 to 1. They're out of supply, so it's 3 to 1. I have an armour shift, so it's 4 to 1. With artillery, gives me 5 to 1. Let's see how we go. And it's a 5 to 1. 5 is not great. It's a 5 fight. I'm going to designate my armoured unit as lead to give me a -1 modifier, which gives me a 2 - 1 is a D1 result. That causes a step loss and they must retreat 4 hexes. They cannot do so because they can't go anywhere. Sorry, no, D1 in a 5 fight, they must retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2, I guess they could retreat. Can they retreat to here? Is that overstacking? Yep, that's overstacking. They can't retreat to enemy zone of control or through hexide bonds. I don't think they can go here because it's an easy AC, so they are eliminated. And we get D1, it gives us a regular advance, which is 1 hex in any direction, can use roads to go further. We'll just go here, recapture Vilsan. Should have done movement first, sorry. I should not have done that until I finished off with these guys. I want to really shift my attention out to the south, so getting out of this wooded area. 1, 2, I think they were a half, weren't they? They're back here. So a half, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Am I adding this up right? Half, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6. I may have put them back in the wrong area, but it's yeah. These guys will do something similar. They will go a half, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and they have to stop there in Le Nez. All right. So yeah, we're getting a bit bogged down in this wooded area here with this maze of secondary roads. The Americans hold all the primary road choke points around here. How does it compare to Bitter Woods? Look, I used to own Bitter Woods a long time ago, and I honestly cannot remember. I haven't played Bitter Woods, oh God, it must be a decade. So I can't make an informed comparison. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable comparing this to Bitter Woods because it's been so long. What else have I played? FAB Bulge. What else? What else? I love Bulge games, but and this is great. So that's the end of the night phase. From there, we move to the AM turn. And let me just take you around to the turn track. Again, a reminder, this is the around here. Turn track, night phase complete. Not many reinforcements arriving. We have one German unit arriving. You'll notice all these breakdown units I have over here. And I should use them more. It's just kind of thinking about them in the moment. And I don't know, this will come after repeated plays, but I don't know in what circumstances I'd use them. Obviously the Americans can use them to spread their lines out, but using them also breaks down the strength of their units. And to this point, the weak US defensive ratings has been the cause of their failure. The reason the Germans have been able to advance thus far is because they've been picking off and eliminating weak US units. Now that these stronger US units are on the board, it's slowing down. So I'm disinclined to break down these defense ratings. I want to keep them strong, and I want to keep them in key areas, as I just explained earlier. Okay, so my battery is again running out. This really sucks up the juice, recording live. So we have German artillery phase, and let's just have a look here. This is a range 3 unit. We have artillery here, which is nice. I think I'd like to get these guys ready to move on Bastogne. And I'd like to kind of create an opening here. This is where I'm putting the pressure on the Americans. 1, 2, 3, 4 primary roads leading to this area. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Night markers can be removed. So that's 1. Where else can I threaten the Americans? Certainly in the center here. Maybe 1 range of 4 would be good, but unfortunately they have 0 movement. So 1. Are there any artillery pieces around here that I can fire with? They're on their not fired side. All right, so let's these 2 guys in the middle. 2, 3. I don't think they'll be able to fire this turn, but we can get them into a position. Okay, artillery supply. Fuel shortage phase. And I did this last turn. This is basically, yep. We start to roll for fuel shortage for the Germans. They roll a die for table 1 and a die for table 2. These are the tables way down the bottom here. So we've got left and right, we've got a 6 and a 1. I need to sort of read the rules for this as well. So the 1 gives us no shortage. The 6 gives us 56 Panzer Corps, 116th Division. So, fuel shortage, phase. Okay, if it targets a division that's riding as reinforcements, nope. I must select one unit that's on the map, and they have a fuel shortage. What does that mean? All units of the division are considered out of supply and suffer the penalties of that status. Okay. Out of supply. 56 Panzer Corps, 116th Division. Now I have to find those guys. They could be all over the place. 56 Panzer Corps. I don't even know where the 56 Panzer Corps started. Let me check the reinforcement schedule. Maybe they are not. Look, I cannot find the 56 Panzer Corps 116th Division. 116. '56 116, 56 Corps. I think it's a typo. That must be one. It must mean 58 116 because there is no 56 that I can see. So let's treat this as 58 116, and they are around here. That's okay, because they haven't been doing too much. They've been kind of mopping up behind the lines. Need some more out of supply markers. 58. Not many of them. 58 116, 58. Oh, I've got one up here. Yeah, that's most of it. They've had their kind of clean-up job. Another one there. Oh yeah, I've got that one. Okay, so that's a fuel shortage. Bridge phase. Got a bridge I can now flip to repair way down in the very just off map and near Echternach, way down southeast. And now the German movement phase. Okay, battery's running flat, and this is going to take me a long time. So I might actually pause here. I'm actually going to stop playing, pause, charge the battery, and recommence later on once battery's charged. I can run you through the whole German movement phase, because this is going to be a big one. A lot of options now available to the Germans, and some critical decisions in terms of moving towards Bastogne, through Hoffelaise. What we do here, it's not going to be as easy as it has been in previous turns. So let me think about that, and I'll recommence soon. Thanks all.